Good afternoon, y'all, and welcome back. This is segment 5 of the story of my life, and my name is Eugene Jepson. As I mentioned before, there will likely be around 25 segments, so on with my story. I must have had a little mischievous streak in me because it always seemed like I was doing something to get myself into trouble. One day, I found a white piece of paper and I wanted to make holes in the paper. I pulled a steak knife from the kitchen drawer and placed the paper neatly on the couch. It just so happened to be a leather couch. And I proceeded to stab the paper with the knife. After doing that several times, I realized that the knife was not just poking holes in the paper, but the couch cushion as well. However, I came up with a perfect solution. I covered up my mistake by neatly covering the holes I had made with the piece of paper, and I placed the knife under the cushion. After all, nobody would ever notice the holes with the paper covering them, right? I decided to take off and play outside. And by the time, let's see, sorry, a little while later, my dad lined us kids up and asked each one who had done that damage to the couch. And by the time he got to me, I started bawling. I was only 4 years old. How was I supposed to know that the knife would make holes in the couch like that? Whoops. I made a lot of mistakes in my life, but I've also tried to learn from each one of them. All we need to do is try a little harder to be a little better than we were yesterday. As long as we're doing that, I think that we're improving. The first bishop I remember having was Bishop Gerald Rose. He always had a drawer full of candy and told me that anytime I could come to his office and help myself to the candy drawer. He kept it stocked for just those kind of occasions. I must have taken him at that literally, because every time I wanted candy, I would show up at his office, knock on the door, and ask for some. He could have been in an interview or busy in a meeting, but he would stop whatever he was doing and say, "Come on in, Eugene. You know where that drawer is." And I could help myself to whatever I wanted. Since I didn't get candy very often, that was an awesome treat. And I still remember the stories that he would tell me and many of the other children in the ward, and the kindness that I felt from him. Just a couple of years ago, I was visiting him in Park Valley, and we reminisced about this and some of the stories that he told us kids. At the age of 5, I started school, and when the school bell rang, all the kids ran into the school. There, the teacher, Noreen Carter, had started calling the attendance roll in alphabetical order. When she called my name, there was no answer. I was nowhere to be found. My sister Denise knew that something could have easily happened to me, and she ran outside looking for me. She knew I could have easily fallen on the playground and gotten hurt. She came outside and found me hanging on the flagpole where a classmate had hung me about 6 inches off the ground. She helped me down, dried my tears, and we went back to class. My siblings and many others over the years have been great at watching out for me and trying to protect me whenever I got hurt or picked on. I think it's funny to look back at these experiences and laugh. It's not how many times that we get knocked down, but how many times that we get back up again and keep going that really matters. It's also important to remember that every experience or trial we go through can either make us stronger and a bit more resilient to the woes of the world, or at least we can always take a negative experience and make something positive out of it. Sometime later, we were visited by a home teacher by the name of Edgar Elstead. He was someone that came into our home and shared the gospel message with our family about once a month, and would also check to see how we were doing. He will always be remembered as one of my favorite home teachers. One day, he put his arm around me and my shoulders, and he could feel the vibes of pain shooting through my body. He asked if I was normally in that much pain, to which I replied that I was. He then went and asked my mom if she had known if I had been in that much pain, to which she replied that she hadn't. She said that she had to come and ask me if I was in pain, but until then, she didn't realize how much pain I was in on a regular basis. It's experiences like this that would teach me how to use my priesthood, how to be a good home teacher, and I've tried to fulfill these priesthood callings I've had ever since. I've found that everyone that comes into contact with us could have some kind of effect on our lives. One Christmas, our family received a red plastic sled from Santa, and I took it out to find the tallest snowdrift to slide on. I tried several drifts surrounding our house, but the longest one just happened to be in the middle of our corral. There were cows and horses on both sides, and I was sliding down the drift. Our dog was barking and chasing the sled. As I slid past the heifer, she got spooked and decided she wanted to jump over me, and just as I passed her. As she jumped over me, though, I got kicked in the head right above my eye. I got up, walked into the house where my dad bandaged my cut and administered to me. That's another name for a priesthood blessing. Out in the sticks where we lived, it was sometimes easier to bandage ourselves due to being snowed in and not being able to make it to town to see a doctor. There has been times that the drifts were so deep and so wide that not even the snowplow could make it through, so we had to rely on snowmobiles to get around. Those were a lot of fun, and I remember being pulled behind the snowmobile on tubes and flying over ditches. Anyway, this is where I will end segment 5. Thank you for listening, reading, or watching. I hope that you enjoyed my story thus far. I hope you have a wonderful day. Keep smiling, and God bless.